Hello, I have a new development update for you guys today. I've been working on some stuff, a couple new states, 2 new countries, and a couple of bug fixes. So the main thing are these 2 countries right here. I don't know if you've seen my post about them, but if not, it's the operational zones of the Alpine foothills and the Adriatic, also known as Ozak and Ozav. And these were puppet occupied country things that Germany set up in 1943 when Italy collapsed. And in base game Hoi 4, there's no parallel to that. They could have even just given these states to Germany, but no, they didn't do that. They just puppet the Mussolini Italy, which I think at this point isn't very surprising. It's just how it is. But anyway, I wanted to add them in, and before I had to do that, I had to split a state and add another new one. So this state split, funnily enough, has been split. It used to own this province. Now this province is its own separate state called Rijeka, and that was just to facilitate the borders here. And then another state was added called Udan. I know that this isn't the name I'm going to choose, so don't freak out if this name is wrong. I will fix it later. And then I changed the shape of Venice. I changed the shape of Trentino, Alto, all of these states like over here to make the borders accurate. So I'm just going to show you right now. It's tied to the Italian Civil War as of now. I might make a feature in the future where you can use a decision or some other way to spawn it. But right now, Italy gets the event that says there's a civil war. This is base game vanilla. But if Germany is an ally of Italy and Hitler is in power, it's very important. That way Wilhelm isn't getting this stuff. These states will be granted. So let me just spawn the event. Let me just go into Italy. And I should have the event loaded up here. Yeah, okay. So this is just a normal base game event. Italian Civil War. This is where you get to pick if you want to play as the puppet or if you want to play as the allied puppet. Now, no matter what you click, this will be changed. If, like I said, if the prerequisites are filled out. So let's just play as the puppet. Boop. And now, we got 2 new countries here. We got Ozav and Ozak. I couldn't fit their whole names. They're way too long. It's like operational zone of the Alpine foothills and operational zone of the... It's super long. But they are here. Their capitals are correct. The borders are much better than they were before. And they work just like other arcades. So they own one state and the other state is controlled. This one owns Trieste. Everything else is controlled and contested, all that. I think it's pretty cool. It's nice to have another thing in the game that was missing from vanilla. And it's nice to make another set of more accurate borders. And in my experience testing this, it's pretty fun too, as the allies and as the Axis, to have more countries to invade, more puppet governments to dismantle from the Reich before you push up into the Alps. And overall, it's a nice change. There's more things coming to this. Mainly, I'm going to add the microstates, not as actual countries, just because of country bloat. And I don't want to have to find GFX for the leaders and all that. I'm just going to have them as provinces in their own country that are owned by the country. So there'll be 2 new provinces here that are small that represent those countries. But in reality, they'll be owned by Italy because, I mean, in a war like this, they kind of are just owned by a certain nation. Same with Monaco and the same with Andorra and Liechtenstein. So that would be nice just to have, I guess, accurate borders there as well. There is a focus in the German focus tree, support Aku and Liechtenstein, which gives a victory point to the state, which is, I guess, the closest you can get. But I'm going to be able to fix that now, and it'll actually give that to Liechtenstein proper. So I think that's pretty cool. I might make them their own states too. Probably not. But that's about it. That's all I want to show as of now. There's more on the way. But I have 2 questions for you guys. First of all, do you think it would be cool to have a feature where Germany can annex this land? And if so, how should that happen? Or should it be left as this or given back to Italy or something like that? And another question is, what kind of non-historical arcades do you want me to make? Like independent, or not independent, but separate Reichskommissariat for Crimea, or if you want, I guess, maybe Burgundy, stuff like that. But other ones, if you have any ideas, let me know. Before I go, I want to show you what this looks like when Germany owns it, just so you can kind of get an idea of what it would look like. Alright, so there it is, annexed. I think that looks pretty cool. You have Germany extending from the north to the south. They have a port in the Adriatic. Maybe this would be something that you could get after a while. Maybe this would be something you can only get after you win World War II. I don't know. But that's pretty cool. Another cool thing is how Austria looks with this. Alright, look how cool this is. Austria with access to the Adriatic Sea with these new states. Looks pretty cool. Looks even cooler with Venice too. These are nonsensical borders, but I think it's just fun to test them out. And you guys did say that you like non-historical content. These have been fixed for Austria's focus tree, Austria-Hungary and all that. But there are some errors that I still need to iron out with Hungary, Poland, Holland, the EU countries and all that. So that'll be next up. But yes, please let me know what you think about all this, and let me know what ideas you have for other arcades that were not historically done by Germany, and then also decisions to expand certain arcades. Like, how should Ukraine be expanded? Because there's definitely a couple different ways you could do that. You can go all the way to Kazakhstan, or you can do just a little bit more. But yeah, let me know what you think. That's about it. See ya.